Okay, I believe we're live. What's up, people? I'm just gonna wait. Actually, let me take this banner off. What's going on? What's going on? Let's see if we get people on board because I know it's a bit of a weird day. It's a Wednesday. So we're gonna leave it a bit for people to get in. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay. Just waiting for this to. It says no one is here so far, so let's see if that is going to change. I think we're going to get people on. I don't know. It's a weird one because it's actually a Wednesday. I've never actually done this on a Wednesday. I don't know if people going to be able to get on this on a Wednesday. You might be working. Okay, we got people. Okay, what's up, man? What's up? Grave Rave, what's how you doing, man? Okay, people are coming in now. I was thinking, boy, I don't know if this is actually working. But yeah, man, we're doing it on a weird day. We're doing it on a Wednesday. I know, people. But good to see you. Hope you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, we've got people coming in. There you go. There you go. You got Kite to Surf. What's going on, man? That's good. That's good. Christopher Lang, keep up the good work. Okay, most recent video was brilliant. The AI one. Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. This is I'm getting tired of people saying, it's just in your imagination. I've been talking about this for the longest, but I just never say anything. Like I've never like said it on the channel too much, but I've been talking about this in my crowds and with people I work with. AI is coming for you, but that's for another video, man. Crystal A, what's going on? Looking forward to the live as someone who's been unemployed for almost 3 years. Oh my gosh. And on the autism spectrum, that makes it even worse. Oh no. That would listen, keep your mental health up. My friend's done 2 years so far not having a job. You've done one better, unfortunately, or one worse. So yeah, it's tough out there, man. It's tough out there. We're gonna dive into it, man. But keep your head up. We're gonna dive into it. It's gonna be a very interesting stream today. Listen, man, the job market is definitely broken in 2025, and we're gonna explore some of the reasons why. And also, it's a nice live stream because we've got a guest on the show for the first time, Doug Ebertowski. So he's a recruiter, helps people get into the work sectors and things like that. He's going to be joining in about 15 minutes time, so it'll be good to find out from him his views on it, his thoughts and stuff like that. So it'd be good to ask him some questions on that. So yeah, that being 15 minutes, but let's get everyone in first so far. And I'm gonna kick it off, man, because it's a dodgy time right now. It's a dodgy time. Um, the job market's stressful. A million people going for one role. How are you supposed to win? And a lot of that is phantom jobs. We're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into it. But people, glad you're here today. I know it's usually on a Saturday. If you follow me on my lives, I usually do this on a Saturday, but I won't be able to do it on a Saturday. But we give you earlier, man. We bring it on a Wednesday. So that is good, man. You got an earlier session there, man. I'm gonna put a banner up for if you want to call in, if you want to share your story. You've got a number there and a WhatsApp number. It'd be good to hear from you guys as well. Be good to get people talking about their stories and how they're finding it. Before I go on, I just want to say I had an autism dating event last Sunday. So that was really good. I just want to thank people if they're watching this. I want to thank you for attending that dating event. It was really good. We had a turnout. We had 6 guys. We only had 3 girls. Supposed to be more girls, but they paid for the ticket but didn't turn up. Maybe I got code 3. I don't know. But we made it work, man. It was good people, and we've had great feedback. We had a couple matches, which was really good news. We had great feedback. In fact, when me and my business partner left, the group stayed. They stayed and they went out for dinner apparently, and they've exchanged numbers. So yeah, they've made friends there. So that is really good to know. So we had good feedback there. So some people didn't get the romantic connections, but they got friendship connections. So yeah, man, that was good to know. So thank you for all the people supporting, and if you shared the links to the speed dating event. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to post on my socials. It's been so busy, man. I literally, before this stream, I even finished work because I'm working today. I'm working like you guys. I was working from home. Literally ended the stream, not to ended the stream, finished work not too long ago. I'm supposed to work till 5:30. That's near enough impossible. It never ends at 5:30. So yeah, man, I'm tired. I've got tea here. It should be coffee, but it was a long one, man. How are your days going? How are your days? Let's go through the comments and see what you guys are saying. Crystal A, currently I'm volunteering with a British Heart Foundation just to keep myself busy. You know what? Volunteering's good, but obviously you want the money. But volunteering is good to do something. If you can afford to do it, then that's a good thing to do, man. That's a good thing to do because it helps in regard to connection. Sometimes you can get connection from it. You can get business from it, all sorts of stuff. So that is good. That is good. Hold on. Why is this not showing? 1 second. Um, why is this? I don't know what's going on here. Anyway. So yeah, man, don't listen, I know it's not paid, but it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think, yeah, obviously we haven't got as much people as we usually do on this day. I'm guessing some of you are working, but hey, man, you can watch it on the playback if you're not watching it now. Before I jump into the main subject at hand, just want to say, please, give me the HBO special. If you don't know what that is a help a brother out special, man. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment, man. It helps the engagement, it helps the video get trafficked and trafficked in a good way and brought to the wider community, man. So yeah. um yeah, it is hot. It is blimmin' hot, man. I woke up at this is the thing, I couldn't sleep, man. I woke up at like 4 a.m. I went to the gym because I couldn't go back to sleep and my daughter was awake. She woke up, so I went to the gym 4 a.m. before I get an early start. I faded quickly after that. Like, yeah, today's been tough, man. I probably should have stayed in bed. I tried to go back to sleep, but I just couldn't. The heat, we had a bit of rain, which was good, needed. But yeah, it's not as hot as it was before, which is good. I don't want it too hot. This is unbearable in this country. I don't know why. It's so hard here. Um, yeah, man, I'm glad you caught alive too, man. Peasant Pebbles. I'm peas. Oh wait, peas and pebbles. Sorry, peasant pebbles. Peas and pebbles. I'm glad you caught this, man. But let me go into it. Let me go. Oh, hey, Happy. Yeah, man. Good man. Good man. Hello, family. Right back at you. So let me get into it. Let me get into it, man. Let me get into it. So let me just stop. Yeah. Let me get into the matter at hand. Um, we got a serious issue, man. The job market is broken. If right now, if you're working in a crappy job, in between jobs, like some of you are, a student, you're probably wondering why the hell is the job market so bad right now. You know, you spend hours and hours tweaking the CV. I've done it as well, changing your CV, using a scattergun approach to apply for every single thing you can possibly apply for. Yeah, dozens upon dozens of jobs. You get rejected sometimes in the same day. I don't know about you. I used to see that, unfortunately. As soon as I saw the unfortunately, I delete the message. You know, most times I wanted to say something rude back, but I just didn't. That's not. But like screw you sort of thing. But you're getting rejected because it's not even going to humans. It's getting rejected by the bots, the AI, the bots. They're rejected before it even gets to anyone else. Um, if it's not getting rejected, you're getting ghosted. You don't even hear from the recruiters. The recruiters call you up and tell you about this brilliant opportunity that you're just right for. And then, like, you do all that, you give the CV, you update it, give your portfolio, whatever. Don't even hear back. You got to chase and say, yeah, what's happened to that? And like, who are you again? Oh, yeah, went somewhere else. But we'll keep you in mind in upcoming roles. When you do get interviews, they feel like interrogations. I've had interviews, man, and they've asked me all sorts of questions. I've had interviews with 5 people interviewing me. Like, I've been at like a long table, and it's intimidating, man. You got people there, you got HR, you got execs, all these kind of things. You got the marketing manager, all that kind of stuff, head of marketing, senior designer, all that kind of stuff. And they're asking you questions like trying to find a fault. Do you know what I'm saying? Didn't you? Might as well put the blimmin' light on your head, like them bloody interrogation rooms. Then you've got these tasks, which are so ridiculous. When a lot of the tasks you spend hours on them, they don't go nowhere, and then you find out later that they've actually used the work that you've created for that task, just got free work out of you. You know, the salaries are laughable. They don't fit. They're not in tune with the current climate, the current economical viewpoint, and whichever city you're living in, especially if you're living in London. They're offering you like 20K for like a 50K job. It's ridiculous. They know they can do this as well because they know they've thousands of other applicants after that one job. You know, the contracts that you do get if you're given a job are dodgy, hours are dodgy, and they're usually, let's be honest, people, they're usually looking for a role. They're looking for someone because the work environment is toxic. So people are leaving. So they need to find someone. But the media paints this picture as, you're just lazy. You millennials, you don't want to work like the boomers. You're just lazy. Or people just don't want to find jobs anymore. They just can't be asked. There's so many jobs out there. That's insidious, and it's not the truth. And they blame the issues that we have on you, not being able to get a job. You know, you need multiple skills now for a job, like, you need to know UX. Like, for, let's take an example, design. You need to know UX, and you need to know motion graphics, and you need to know digital design and print design. Like, what? And you need to be good at presenting. Like all these different roles, and then the role that they're offering doesn't equate to that, what they're asking for. you know yeah, man, minimum wage jobs. Then you want you to get glowing references. The one thing, actually, one of the worst things is just like, them entry level jobs. When they say, we need someone with experience, I'm like, hold on a minute, this is an entry level job, but you want me to have experience? I'm here to get the experience, brother. Like, do you know what I mean? It's crazy, man. It's all BS. It's all BS. And yeah, man, I was doing some digging. Let me get them up. I was doing some digging and I found these statistics which are scary at best. Let me read these out to you. So, youth unemployment crisis. The number of unemployed young people rose from 583,000 to 625,000, with a rise of 42,000, with the unemployment rate increasing a 13.6%. This means 1 in 7 young people are unemployed. Approximately 14.8% of people aged 16 to 24 were unemployed in the United Kingdom in the second quarter, the highest of any age group. And when I say the UK, a lot of this it's relatable in different regions. Do you know what I mean? In January to March 2024, there were 923,000 people aged 16 to 24 who were not in employment, education, or training. 12.5% of all people 16 to 24-year-olds had unemployment situation. That's nearly 1 million young people. Check this out. Rising unemployment trend. The UK unemployment rate increased by 0.2%, which points to 4.6% for the unemployment situation. Redundancy's gone up. A total of 117,000 people are made redundant, which is an increase in 7,000 people so far this year. That's crazy. We're in July now. It's crazy, man. The stats just go on. And look at this. Youth employment decline. Youth employment. What's this? Youth employment rate has decreased from 51 to 50.6% of young people, meaning fewer of half than 16 to 24 people are unemployed, which is crazy. But I think we have a guest. Let me bring in Doug. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, how are you, my friend?
I am good. I am good, man. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Yeah, I didn't say. So we literally got in touch with each other, and it turns out that we have similar viewpoints, which is really interesting. But
Yes,
which is really good. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Hey, thanks for the opportunity to be here, MJ. Really appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. So just to let everyone know, Doug, you work in Career IQ, and you've been a business leader, staffing firm manager, and a recruiter, and hiring many people over the years. Also been a coach, a career coach, and a career expert, working with over 1,000 clients, which is pretty good. And have been quoted for career advice in multiple major publications, including Business Insider, Fortune, and CNBC. So yeah,
Yep.
welcome to the stream, man.
Thanks, man. Good to be here. Really
Thank
good
you.
to be here.
So I think you know what. Now we got you here. I think it'd be best for you to let everyone know what you're about, what you do.
Sure, sure. So yeah, as you said, and once again, thanks. I really appreciate being here, MJ. And hi to all your audience, all you beautiful people out there. I'm glad to be with you guys here today too. So, like MJ had said, I am a guy with been on a number of rodeos over the years, and I started out my career as a staffing firm manager a lot of years ago, and so I've watched job search and career development for many years, lots of decades. And in that time, I've also been a recruiter, both in-house and a headhunter, as some people would call those. So working for other companies. I've been a career coach for a company where I did international recruiting, a lot of it US based, but I had clients over in Europe and Australia, around the world. Coached everyone from recent high school or excuse me, college grads to VPs of some of the largest companies in the world, which is, if I mention their names, you would know them. So I've kind of been around the block, right? And I'm not saying that as a boast. I'm just saying I've seen a lot in this. But I'm also a person who is very realistic. You mentioned we have some similar views, MJ, you and I, and I'm very realistic about what is going on in the job market right now. I don't candy coat things or sugarcoat things. Matter of fact, not only do I run Career IQ, where I've got some online training that I do, I'm also still active as a recruiter and a trainer. So I'm looking for people, in different capacities out there when we're, hiring for different positions. But so my feet are on the ground too. I'm pretty well aware of what's going on out there. But yeah, so just a little glimpse of me.
Okay, so so you said you've been around the block, you've seen some things.
Yeah,
What would you say is the state of the job market in America currently, and is
yeah.
it a dramatic difference than it was before?
Yeah, yeah. There's no question. There's always been, ups and downs in job search, right? There's
Mm,
always been that. There are certain things that people think are maybe new phenomena, like ghost jobs or getting ghosted. People posting, companies posting jobs that they had no intention of filling. Things of that nature. That's been going on for a long time. It's at an astronomical level in some ways now compared to what it was,
mm,
right? So there are some similar things, like history kind of tends to repeat, but I think we're in a time now where there are so many dynamics that are coming together all at one time, right? Our economy, what's happening there in our global economy, right? We're not really just we're not individual islands all over. It's become a global economy. Businesses are international, employees are international, people are connected. We're well interconnected. And we're even interconnected with, your job affects my job in some way, right? If you're not working, you're not buying from my business. But over the years, there's definitely been highs and lows, but we've got things like the economy, the job market, AI, changes in the way that business is run, different dynamics in education that lend to all of this. The influx of lots of college grads over the last decade. sometimes in industries that can't support them. So there's a lot of dynamics that are all coming together for kind of a perfect storm. I'll just kind of say it that way, right? And I think that's what a lot of us are bumping into right now is some of that. And I don't mean to be doom and gloom, right? It's
Mm.
but I want to be realistic, because I think in being realistic, we can look for solutions, right? If
Yeah.
we can be kind of aware, this is what I'm up against. What do I do about that, right?
Mm.
And so I see that it's easy to fall into that place. Oh man, everything is just tough, and it is, right? It is. But what does that mean? Am I not going to do anything? Do I give up? We shouldn't give up, right? We've got to find a way to navigate through some of these things.
Okay. So what made you do what you do, like help people get hired? Was there something that happened to you in your sort of career that kind of put you on that path that I don't want this to happen to anyone else? Or was there a story like that? Or you just sort of fell into it? Or
Yeah, I think I've swam around this so many times. This whole idea of job search, career development. I've been a resume writer, all of that sort of thing.
Mm.
And over that time, when you're in that position, you counsel people, you coach people, you help them, you give them advice. And I actually started it basically full time, 2019. I went on staff at a particular organization that was, if you think like an Indeed or a Monster or something like that, it
Mm.
was an organization, it was the global leader of that in remote, basically remote and hybrid types of work. So I went on staff with those folks as a career coach, moved into a career expert role, is what just the title, right? Different functions, but similar stuff. And I've always helped appreciate, I've always appreciated helping people. And when I have been in coaching sessions and I can share something with somebody and I can watch light bulbs go off, like, oh my,
Mm.
I never thought of that. I never knew that. Or that answers that, or that helps that, right?
Mm.
Every little step helps to move people a little bit closer, right? And I'm kind of a fan of the underdog. I'll admit it. I love to see people that have been wrestling get to a better place, because I've been there
You're
too,
out here.
right? I've been there too.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who says they haven't, is either, well, whatever, right? They might not be telling the truth, or they don't relate then, right?
Mm.
But yeah, so that was kind of my path, But I love helping people. I love to see them get to a place where maybe they couldn't before, and it's an old cliche, knowledge is power, but to some degree, the more that we know, the more we can make better decisions, right? The more
Right.
that we can step into the driver's seat of where we're at.
Yeah.
And because businesses, this is another thing too, is I did a video on this recently, because there's a lot of talk about a livable wage. How do we get to a livable wage? We kind of have romanticized that businesses exist for doing good, and the reality is, and not to say that no businesses do good, but the reason that businesses exist is to make a profit, right? And so we have to get to a place where we understand that our relationship to a business is a business transaction, right? And so we can't romanticize that a business or a government or anybody is going to solve our problems. We have to kind of rise to that place and say, what can I do to add value myself, right? To myself first, and then be in a place where I can position myself and market myself, right? We have to start viewing it more like that. There was a day and a time when we could be maybe more, what's the word I'm looking for? We could be a little more passive, right, in
Okay.
our approach,
So there's
and we
more
could,
opportunity there.
yep,
Yeah, I
we
think
could
that's
do
right.
that. But
Yeah.
today's not that day.
Yeah, yeah. I remember just like you'd be able to just walk out of a job and walk into another one. Like
Yeah,
literally, you'd be handing your CV across in the stores or the shops, whatnot, and you didn't have this sort of pressure in regards to, well, I need to make it work, because if I don't make it work, how do I put food on the table? It was more of a, if anything goes wrong, or if I'm not happy here, I'll leave tomorrow. I'll just find one next week probably, or
Yeah.
something like that. But
Yeah.
now I think we're in a survival mode where, I mean, you just look at the job market. I mean, you go on LinkedIn or something like that, and you're just seeing sometimes 100 and something people for the more than that for the
Yeah.
same position. It's very daunting. It's very overwhelming, and you just think you've got no hope.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about career IQ. So does it work like, because a lot of the people in the UK, we're used to like Total Jobs, Monster, Indeed. How
Yeah.
does career IQ work?
So career IQ is really a venture that I've stepped into myself. That really is my own coaching, right? So not coaching for another company. And in that, I've devised what's called a fast track job search boot camp. What I really wanted to do with that is well, and what it is, let me tell you what it is first. It is a series of 14 videos. None of them are extremely long. They're not hour long each. They're 20 minutes maybe, right? And each of those videos covers a specific segment of job search, right? So oftentimes in our job search, we can view a video here and read a little bit there, and we can get nuggets and from different places, but it can be disjointed, right? And so we can hear things like, you know, um, you need to load your resume with keywords. Well, now that's true, but that's only part of the equation, right? We can load a resume with keywords and still find that we get that auto-generated email that says thanks but no thanks, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what happened in there? What happened in that transaction where my resume got submitted? Was there formatting in your resume document that you were not aware of that could cause an issue for some ATS systems, right? For example, you can put all of those keywords into a text box, right? And call that your skills section. Well, there's certain ATS that don't read text boxes. So maybe all of that information is invisible, right? There's if you the old encouragement was to upload your resume as a PDF, right?
yeah,
Well, what we don't sometimes think of is that PDFs add more formatting underlying to your Word document that could be creating issues, right? So I'm not saying it's always a formatting issue, but it's looking at your whole job application holistically. What am I looking for? Am I researching their culture? Do I know what this pays? Have I researched online with some certain sources, right? Glassdoor.com and some others. So I know what I'm applying for. Can I negotiate that? What is my value in this? How do I present that application? How do I network? What do I say in those conversations? What about trying to use AI to help me write my resume? I don't really encourage people to do a whole AI written resume because recruiters can pick those up, right? You can sniff through that. If you've done Once you've read thousands of resumes, you can sniff through things, right?
yeah, yeah. AI
But
is a bit of a touchy
you know,
subject right now, AI. But
yeah,
yeah,
it is. I get it. In interviewing and what are they after in those questions, and so all of those sort of things. So what I did, forgive me if I rambled there a bit, but what I did is I took this broad picture of job search and all of these segments, and I tried to, which I believe it did, pull them together into a series of lessons that gives you the important information without a lot of fluff, without wandering into things that aren't really going to maybe matter, but give you what you need to get on track as quick as you can. It To really kind of streamline your job search as much as possible. So
wow.
that's really what that was about.
Wow, the things you mentioned are things that the mistakes that I've made. I used to put my well, like, yeah, I always put my all my skills and stuff in a little text box in the
Yeah,
corner, and I made it nice and bright, a nice little blue
yeah,
or something like that to
yeah,
highlight it. And yeah, always. It's funny because I was told, yeah, put it on a PDF and not put,
yeah,
it's even a
yep,
PDF. And I
yep,
just think to the amount of, the unfortunately emails I call them, like I
yeah,
used to get, the sometimes in the same day. I actually
Yeah.
got rejected in the same day, man.
Yeah, yeah, they come quick. If they scan it and it scans you out. The other thing too is there's all of these sorts of dynamics, like in your resume. If it's a really important qualification, that recruiter can weight certain words and look for them two or three times in a resume, right?
Right, 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 right.
And so there's a number of dynamics to kind of learn to, nothing is a perfect formula because there's hundreds of ATS systems out there.
Yeah,
And nothing is a perfect formula because there's thousands of recruiters. But positioning yourself to give yourself the best chance and at least know kind of what's going on behind the scenes
yeah,
can help to at least position you to be successful. Even encouragements like this, you mentioned real briefly that you go on to Indeed or you go on to LinkedIn, right? And 100 and some people have applied.
yeah.
I tell you, as a recruiter, um, maybe I can put out a post for something, and I might, over the years, I might get several hundred applications, but realistically maybe only 30 or 40 of those are even in the ballpark, right?
Really.
And so a lot of times when people are desperate, and I get it, I totally understand that, they'll apply for everything regardless of whether they qualify. So if you can hone that down, so you are maybe one of those 20% that really qualify, and your resume is fine-tuned enough where that hiring manager gives it the 5 seconds when it does get past the ATS, where they look at it and go, I don't have to figure out how this person fits. I can see how they fit. That's where you can start getting interviews, right?
Right. So you're saying instead of doing a whole, which I do as well, which I did as well, the scattergun approach, like,
Yeah.
having a target, right, I need to send 20 CVs off today and all that kind of stuff. You're saying it's probably better to refine your CV, get it
Yes.
right, and then send it. That's a better approach. So concentrate on the level of CV that you have. And
It, it- Precisely. And I hate to say this, because people think, oh my goodness, I hate doing resumes as it is, right? But each resume that you submit should be tailored for that job. So it's not just a matter of putting in some keywords. And you could have like a general, let's say you were applying to a couple of things. You're applying to a project manager role, but also maybe some sort of an operations role. They're very similar, right? But you're going to have different nuances. So maybe have a general project manager resume, but the thing with that is if it takes time for a hiring manager to figure out that you're just the right candidate for that position,
yeah,
they won't, right? And so each and every time, you've got to design those bullets, cut out the fluff. If 10 years ago you had some position that doesn't even apply, don't include it. It won't help you, right?
right.
Help that person. I used to say it like this: if you know Target or whatever company, right, was producing an advertisement, they're going to be laser focused why you want that TV. They're not also going to tell you about their couches and their milk, in the grocery part, right? So tell that employer why you are just the right candidate for that job, right?
Okay.
Do your best to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that does. That does. I want to ask you about the green badge. You know the green badge. The what's it actually say on the green badge now? You get it on LinkedIn, where it's like looking for work. Are you familiar with those green badges?
Oh, okay, yeah, looking for work. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
looking for work. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So my thinking on that is, uh, so I don't know. I never I thought to myself, if I was unemployed, I wouldn't put it on because I've heard that sometimes recruiters look at that and it's kind of like, let's just say like, oh, you're available. It's kind of like
Hmm.
that. Oh, I'd rather you're not as attractive.
Hmm.
The person that's more attractive than the person that's taken.
Yep.
Is it is that a real way of looking at it? Is that how legitimately recruiters look at that sort of thing?
It can't. I'll have to say this. It probably depends upon the recruiter. It
Okay.
probably depends upon the position. How hard that is to fill. There are still positions that can be hard for certain recruiters to fill. As crazy as that might sound, but I'll tell you this. I'll go way back to when I was a headhunter. right? And basically, I would be contracted to go out and find that hidden gem someplace, right? The what we would do is if there were people out on Monster or wherever, this is back, some days ago, we wouldn't even look at those folks, right? Why? Because anybody can find them, right? We were going after the ones that weren't out there looking, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's exactly the same as this, but it paints a picture that recruiters are not necessarily fair or not, and that's a huge point, right? Because you could have a person with a badge on their LinkedIn picture and they're a great candidate, they're unemployed, but recruiters can have this in their mind that the hidden gem is the better one, right? And it's the old adage, it's easier to get a job when you have a job. It holds true. Are there holes in that argument if you really wanted to argue that through? Absolutely, no question about it, but it does remain true. Recruiters tend to look for that person who's still employed, that person that they can pull away or draw away. Not always, but that can happen, right? So if I were unemployed, I personally wouldn't have the badge on. Argument could be made either way, but if a recruiter wants you, they're not looking for that, right?
Right.
Their tools, and I use LinkedIn Recruiter right now, and you can find people. You don't need a badge, right? And if they want that person, they're going to target that person. They'll get in touch.
Right. Okay. Okay. What do you think about the whole phantom jobs? What do you think about that? Because there's been talk that there's a lot out there, so these
Yeah.
jobs are just sort of made up or put there for numbers. What do you think about that?
Um, 100%. There are ghost jobs, phantom jobs, fake jobs, whatever you want to call them. There are now. See, and there's more to it than just saying, "Oh, there's a bunch of ghost jobs." No question that there are companies that will post jobs because they want their current staff that's been saying, "Hey, we're overworked," to believe that they're looking for more people, right? Even though they may not. They may be gathering data. Data is valuable today, right? Data is extremely valuable. And so they may be gathering data. But there are other things such as as a recruiter, you can post a job, and it depends on how they posted it, right? If it had to go through certain channels, they may not see those still, but they can still be. Let me step back and explain this. You can, as a recruiter, post a job on a particular site. Let's say Indeed, right?
Mhm.
Other smaller job boards will go out and grab that post and repost it on their site, not even finding out if it's a live job, if it's still real, how old it is, right? I've
Mm.
seen people apply for jobs that are a year or two old that have been filled long ago because some other small site picked it up, reposted it, and somebody might go out and find it on, XYZ job board. They apply for it. They think it's legitimate. But the hiring manager isn't necessarily doing anything irresponsible. They did their best. They went out to Indeed or to wherever they pulled their job from, right? After they posted it, they thought it's off. These smaller job boards can repost things
Wow.
out there, right? So I'm not saying that that's all of it, but this is what I was talking about. It's a very dynamic, complex organism of job search, right? And you can run into things like that, not knowing that happens, become frustrated, and think, well, they're all fake. And you know what? A lot of them are. That's true. But some of them might not be, or it could be just sloppy work of not cleaning up old jobs and things of that nature.
Okay.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's not so much the companies that's their fault. It's the some of the programs or the sites that are recycling these jobs. You're saying.
Yeah, because if I let's just say hypothetically I posted something and some job board finds it out there and they copy and paste it and throw it on their job board,
Yeah.
right? These people could be trying to apply, especially if there's some sort of an email, right? Respond to this email, that kind of a thing.
Mm.
They could be responding, never hearing back. Once again, I'm not saying this is a lot of them, but this is just an example of how it's not always cut and dry. It's not always really clear as to why that job is sitting there and somebody's not getting responded to.
Right, right. Do you have you noticed any sort of particular job sectors being sort of phased out due to maybe AI or just the times we're living in? Have you noticed
Yeah.
like a trend in that?
Yeah. And I mean, that's pretty broad, right? I think a lot of things are being impacted. I think that tech has gotten hit pretty hard. There's no question about that. And I have people very close to me that are in tech, and so, my son is a software engineer, and he's been in it for a number of years. So, he's not starting out, but I see what's happening in that particular industry. And so I think tech has gotten hit pretty hard. Microsoft, a statistic I heard is up to 30% of all of their entry level software development is being done by AI now. So those are jobs that are just not there, right? They won't be there. They're not coming back. Intel had laid off 21,000, I think, in June. You see that, right? So I think tech has gotten hit hard, but I think the thing that we keep in mind is that even if it's not my industry, your industry impacts my industry, right? And so if tech isn't doing as much, and they're not buying as many cars, or they're not buying as many clothes, or they're tightening their belt on certain things. And so there are certainly industries that have gotten hit harder. um, but we it's the granular effect catches a lot of us, right? And so once again, I think that's what really behooves us to to think of how we can shift. Whoops, excuse me. Think of how we can shift our understanding and our perspective to begin to start to own our own career, and think in terms of how I create value. How do I get ahead of, well, and that's a tough one, but how do I cooperate with the transitions that are happening with AI? They're going to impact a lot of us, right? I'll even tell you this as an example. I told you I work as a recruiter. In addition to this, I right now am helping the company that I work for automate a huge portion of my job with AI. So this is personal, right? I
Yeah,
understand it. But for me, I can say, "Oh, no, no, I'm not participating," or
yeah,
I can learn, how can I get out in front of it? How can I use it, to be able to position myself where, okay, I understand AI. I can use it. I can help somebody else with it. If this job does go away, I'm positioning myself. I'm a better candidate. I'm more valuable. I might not like it, but it's sometimes you need to make friends with the enemy,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's kind of like that with AI. It could be an enemy, but we need to be as savvy with what these opportunities. Think of it this way. Forgive me if I'm rambling, but there's been a lot of changes over decades, in job search. And think of the Industrial Revolution, for example, right? Or even think of back when I started out as a recruiter, and people, or excuse me, as a staffing firm manager, and people typed their resume on a typewriter, right?
Mhm.
At the advent of the internet, people could have thought, "Oh my goodness, there's no more jobs for recruiters or anybody that does that." It's changed, and things will change, and there will be challenges. But how do I reinvent myself to get out ahead of this? How do I be a good candidate? How do I invest in me, right? Not invest in a company, depend on them, but how do I get better? How do I get better at job searching? How do I take a lead? How do I be confident so I'm not dependent as much on the waves pushing me as I'm learning to swim in it?
Right, right,
Make
right.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, that does. I just think there's certain people that not. AI savvy as well. And
True.
so I just wonder, is it literally a thing where you need to upskill, or you need to just change job sectors and yeah, go into a different direction? I wonder if it's that while you're still in your job, even if you know it's being phased out. Let's say if you're, because I'm as a graphic designer, I've noticed a few things.
Yeah.
I talked about it recently in my last video where there's there's agencies and people using programs to do my job, like at a click of a button, creating logos, creating posters, design,
Yeah.
branding, by just typing in what they want, as long as they have this AI program. So I'm noticing the writings on the wall, and I'm thinking, okay, instead of being just letting it take me away in the waves,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
said, how do I get out of it? How do I preempt my, my safety financially? What do I need to
Yes.
do? Do I need to upskill? Do I need to find another job? Do I need to create my own business? Is that sort of thing? It's like
Yes.
it's being
Yes.
a survivor, isn't it? It's being
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. And we'll see different jobs. I'm not saying that this isn't going to dramatically change the workforce, right? I believe that it will, and I don't believe it's, tomorrow, but it's moving quick, right? So that might look very different for a lot of us. Maybe some of us aren't really AI, savvy, but we may be good communicators, right? Or we might be good planners because even with AI, AI is good at execution. It executes tasks well, but it may not. It's probably, at least in the near future, not going to get past a place where a human needs to tell it what to do, or to monitor it, or to think creatively, or to do other tasks, or So I I am hopeful, and I believe that there are going to be different jobs that will arise from this. But if I'm honest, I believe we're all going to have to get to a place where we are, coming to terms with that, right? And asking ourselves, how can I upskill? How can I get myself to a better place? What can I do? And keeping our eyes open, being as prepared as we can for changes that, are probably inevitable. But I believe there's hope. I do,
yeah.
right?
Sure, brilliant. Okay, just a couple more questions. One, so I'll ask you where do you see us going in the next year or so? Where do you see the job sector globally? Maybe I don't know, but the job market? Where do you see it in the next
Hmm.
year or so? Do you see it
Hmm.
getting any better, or is it going to decline further?
Yeah, that's if I had a crystal ball, oh boy, and that's a very fair question. I my sense is watching what's happening in the markets, right? Watching what's happening in the job market, watching what's happening in inflation, watching people tighten their belts, watching interest rates, all of those sort of things. Small businesses don't expand when interest rates are higher, all those sort of things. I think, we've got a challenging year or so in front of us, right? Most things do ebb and flow. And so I think we're going to ebb and we're going to flow. And, very often over the years, you've seen it come back, and it's an employees market, and we may get to that point, right? I don't want to get way off into the weeds, but there are changes that are happening in how many employees a company might need, but there's also decreasing population rates in the world too, right? I mean, generations that are coming up are not as large as generation, the X or the boomers or whatnot, right? So I think that there will be ebbs and flows in this, but I do believe we've got a couple of a year or two in front of us. While some of this stabilizes, we figure out what AI is going to do, where some of these businesses, how much they can trim, how they can be efficient with less, how much they need to have people, new positions arise, all of that. There's going to be some adjusting. The ground's going to have to settle, and I think we've got probably a year or so of settling in front of us
Yeah.
before we see a little bit clearer picture.
Okay. Okay.
That's my take, right?
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
like it. So you're saying ebbs and flows. So it could be a dip, but it might go up again. It might just be
Mhm.
resetting, and then
Yep.
the Great
Yep.
Reset.
That, yeah. Yeah. In more ways than one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, more ways than one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you about this. Okay, so my partner's had this issue where so she's been working fully remote, but they're getting her, and it's happened to many people now,
Mhm.
back in the office. Have you noticed that, and do you know the reasons, or do you suspect the reasons for why companies want people back in the office? Because they're getting the old, oh, it's for the for everyone to get along and the dynamics of the
Mhm.
company. But is it a bit more insidious at that? Is it basically we have all this retail and we need to fill it up? What's your views on that?
Yeah, and I think there's probably a number of reasons. I think there's probably some management that are just so used to that, right? That they feel that that there's some advantage to it, right? I think it could be, very. I don't want to. I'm searching for the right word. Not necessarily honest, but legitimate motives, right? That may be something like that. There could be certain work environments that do function better in some cases with people close. But personally, I'm an advocate for remote work. I've worked remotely for a number of years, and I worked for a company that coached people on remote and hybrid work, right? And so I believe in what that brings. So I think that there are certainly some uh, reasons for return to work that maybe employers feel they have more ability to control what's happening in a work environment when they can see it. It can be kind of a control thing. It can also be, quite frankly, a way to eliminate work staff without having to do a layoff, right? And this is, that might sound a little more nefarious, but business is business, right? It happens that way. So if I call you back in, you're a remote worker, you say, I'm not coming back in, you have downsized yourself out of the company. There's no there's no unemployment to pay, there's no severance package, and you didn't do a layoff, right? There was no layoff, so it looks better in the press. But the shareholders are still making a better return because there's less. The most costly expense really that most businesses have is employee count, right? And so that can be used as a way to inadvertently do a layoff to call people back in. Now, do I think it's always that? No, I don't. I certainly don't, but it can be that.
Right, right, yeah. Okay, well, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for this. It's been really insightful, and I knew it would be because obviously you're in that field, so it's good to know some of the things I suspected, and I've actually been made aware of. Let's just say if I look for a new job, I'm handling the CV process a lot better. There's been no process. It's just you get it out, get it to as much people as you can, and hope for the best.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so maybe give it some structure on that. So yeah, so where can people find you?
Yeah. So I believe in your chat and in the description of the video when it gets posted. There's going to be a link to my website.
Yep.
There's also going to be a link in there to go straight to the course, which is the Fast Track Job Search Bootcamp. And in there, my encouragement is use that link because there is a discount code, a promo code that is specific to your listeners, MJ. And if they use your link, use that code, they can save 10% off of that course. It's typically priced $189. You can get 10% off if you use that. But yeah, so you can find me at either of those places. And yeah, love to have you jump over to my YouTube channel, visit me over there, and happy to connect with you folks that way too.
Yeah, yeah. I've left all the links so you can get Doug on. You can get them on all the social, the YouTube and whatnot. Like I said, the affiliate link as well. So yeah, definitely do that because it sounds promising. It sounds like it would really help, especially. And I think we need a lot of help now in doing the job search in the right way instead of just any way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds very structured. So yeah, so thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you, MJ. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of your audience. You guys have a great day.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay, yeah, that was really good. That was really, really, really insightful there. I've been, yeah, I literally been doing it the wrong way. I don't know about you guys. I've literally just had my CV. I do it as like, right, I need to send 20 CVs off a day, and that way will help me. And literally, the amount of like time wasted, the unfortunately emails that you get. So yeah, man. So definitely, yeah, the links are in the description of this video. So you can get hold of him and check out all of his stuff, man. There's a link as well there, so you can definitely the affiliate link, so you can go into his website and get the course and all that stuff. And yeah, man, use that link as well if you're gonna do it, because yeah, you get a discount off. You know what I'm saying? So do that. But yeah, it's a turbulent time we're living in. I I just see I'm surrounded by people that are in this situation of being not happy in the job market and not being able to get a job. I knew a time rather where you could just go out of a job and go into a next one if you felt that there was a toxic environment, if you felt that you weren't paid right, if you felt that the distance from the job was a bit too far, if you felt that the work you was doing was not in your job remit. You can literally say, "So this, and this is my time. I'm not going to spend my time, my precious time, doing this job that's not serving me in the right way." Take your CV, go into the next place, hand it in, get a job within a couple of weeks. It is definitely not like that. Employers definitely have the power right now. It was a not too long ago we had the power in regards to saying, listen, man, if you're not giving me this job, I'll go elsewhere because I can work remotely. There's more jobs that will hire me now because they can fish in a larger sea now. Do you know what I mean? But now it's not the case. And I think we're suffering from that. And now they're getting people to come back into the office, which is like full time. I mean, I went into the office the other day, man, yesterday. Oh my gosh, literally like a sardine, like that. Literally packed. Doors kept opening and closing because there was too many people in there. Literally like that. You know. And then it stops, the tube stops, you got to wait there in that awkward, like congealed mess you are doing some next kind of things with your body, leaning and getting close to people you don't want to be getting that close to. And it's like, how the hell did we do this 5 days a week? It's madness. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It just like Doug put a hopeful spin on it, and hopefully it will get better and improve. I am hoping so. Just like the whole wokeness, I'm hoping there's like peaks and troughs. Like there's a reset, a great reset, but a one that the reset is good for us. Where you're going for the low and it gets a bit better, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's turbulent. I know many people that have been made redundant. I've been made redundant 3 times. I thought redundancy. I was naive to think redundancy happened when you're old, like when you're in your 60s. That's why I was never familiar with. I heard the word redundancy, but I thought, oh, it happened when you're like in a wheelchair, and not in a wheelchair, but in have your walking stick and stuff. You know what I mean? You're old and all that. But no, redundancies are happening to people as young as 20. Like it's crazy that the climate we're living in, and you're fit. You're like, I need a job. How am I gonna be able to feed my family? Oh, we got a call. We got a call. Let me answer the call, man. Let me see. Hold on. Hello. Hold on a minute.
Hello,
Hold on. Hello.
hi MJ.
Yes. Hello. How you doing?
Good. It's Alex again.
How you doing, Alex?
Uh,
Man, what you want to say?
I've got two quick points to make.
Yeah.
Um, One of them refers to the hospitality industry.
Right.
Um, they advertise these positions and they expect people to go in and work a trial shift for free. And usually those trial shifts are on the weekend, on busy times, and the actual job isn't there. They just need someone. They need a couple of people to come in and do a birthday or a wedding or Easter or whatever the event is. And I think the government need to actually do something whereby if anyone goes in for a trial shift, the trial shift is actually paid, not just a freebie. and it turns out there's no actual job.
So wait, so hold on. Let me get this right. So you come
Yeah.
in one day for a trial, just to prove
Yeah.
if you can do the job. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. In the restaurant trade,
Okay.
they'll get people in. So they need a waiter, for example, or two waiters. And that particular restaurant is short on staff on a weekend. So they would advertise in Indeed or wherever it's going to be, and say, "Oh, we need two people." You go in, and they say, "Oh, can you come in on Friday for a trial shift?" So you go in there, you're running around like a rabbit, serving all these tables. But at the end of the day, there's no pay for it, and then they don't have to give you the job. And the person who was off sick or who was wherever they were, they returned to work on the Monday, and nothing else is said. And that happens a lot. This has been going on for years in the hospitality trade.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's, oh man.
It happens a lot. So if anyone's listening and you want to get a job as a waiter, preferably don't do the shift on the weekend at their busiest time when they're probably just trying to cover short staff.
Wow, that is sneaky.
You want to do your trial shift on a Monday maybe or a Tuesday.
Right.
Make sure it's genuine.
So what are you advising? So you're saying, so if they say, yeah, come in on a Saturday to do it, you're saying, no, can you make that a Monday? Or I'm not available. Can you do it on a Monday or whatever? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Unless the trial shift is paid.
Yeah.
But the industry don't do that. They do not pay trial shifts. So it's just a Mickey take, basically. And the second point is this. I used to work for the NHS many years ago. And you would have a temporary member of staff doing a particular job. Let's say they're doing administration, for example, and they're doing it as a temp by an agency, and that temporary position now becomes permanent. So the whole office knows that the person who's been doing this job temporarily on a temporary basis for the last 2 years or the last 12 months is getting that job.
Right.
And then they've advertised the role. You got people coming down from Scotland, people booking hotels, buying new clothes, new shoes, whatever, potentially thinking that they're going to get this role, but the role was actually already taken. So I think it might, in both cases, in the case of the trial shift, and in the case of temporary positions that have been done in a temporary basis or by an agency or temporary basis, maybe they need to advertise in the small print and say, look, this role is currently being performed by a temporary member of staff who's been here for, I don't know, more than 12 months or 2 years or whatever it is. And then people, when they apply, they would know that the possibility, because if the temporary staff member wasn't any good, they would have got rid of them before.
Right.
So and then it just creates this false narrative of a position that's not actually there. And I've seen it myself, and we've all, from the car park attendant to the cleaner to the canteen to the everyone knows who's getting the job, basically. Right. Yeah, that's just 2 points I wanted to raise, and great show, and enjoyed the guest as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, good to hear. One before you go, what sector of work are you in currently?
I'm in IT.
Oh, you're in IT. Okay. Oh, IT. So how are you finding IT? Is there any sort of, is AI taking over that, or is it still safe, or how are you finding it currently?
Yeah, IT at the moment is going through a major shift. We've got outsourcing knocking on the door. A lot of the industry has been outsourced. That's one angle of it. You've got AI creeping in. You've got there's a thing called Copilot, and it's basically you go on and it automates everything for you. It can pretty much resolve most of the issues that a user would have if they were trying to contact IT. And then we've got this new system now that's coming in within the next, probably, in the old days in the IT, if you had a problem with your laptop, you went to the IT office, you knocked on the door, a couple of guys inside messing around.
Yeah.
The new system will be, it will be literally a vending machine. So if you've got a problem with your laptop, you just take it, go to the vending machine, drop it off, and take a new one.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Then the old one would be re-imaged for the next person So it's all done like via ports, and it will just be reimaged for the next person to take and to move on. So the days of like, when that series, what was it called? The IT, I can't remember the name of the program, but the days of 4 or 5 guys sitting in the IT office will soon come to an end. It will just be maybe one person to replenish the machine, or if there's any issues with the machine. And then, like I say, if you throw in AI and then you throw in outsourcing, which can be done very cheaply from India, Malaysia and other countries, it's taken a downturn. And like the guest said, there are very few junior software engineer positions available at the moment. Most of it is senior positions.
Right.
So,
okay. God, okay. Sounds bleak, isn't it? Sounds great. It sounds great. Oh man, okay. It's literally a time where you need to think about a second option or just backup plans, because it's a bit ropey in some of these sectors at the moment in time.
Yeah, 100%. I think you've got to sort of what do they say? Diversify your portfolio.
Yeah.
You can't rely on, if anyone's working in IT right now and that's their only out. If they've got money in the bank, fair enough. Mortgage paid, cool. But if you're not in that position, you really need to start thinking about doing something else. So it's not good times at the moment.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets better, mate. Thanks for your call, man. Thanks so much.
No problem. Take care.
Yeah, you take care. See ya. Bye. Yeah, sounding a bit bleak, man. Jesus, like it sounds very sterile. That you just put it in a conveyor, like a vending machine, and you just walk away. It's very it just feels like the same sort of scenarios when you go to the tube station now, where you hardly have anyone working there now. You don't need to. I used to be in Norfolk. I used to go to the Norfolk tube station. There'd be the guys in there, always see them. Hey, you're right, mate. Get my travel cards and all this kind of stuff. Now there's no one. There may be someone wandering around like man in the station, but they used to have about 3-4 people. You look in there, see people. You don't see that no more. This is what I keep saying. It's wise, like that saying. It's wise to build. No, it is very intelligent to build an atom bomb, but it's not wise to use it. It's very intelligent making all these technological advances and AI and all this kind of stuff. But what happens when you rely so much on it? What happens to us? What happens to the people? Where do we go? If they care about these nations like they claim, why would you be outsourcing jobs in your own country and bringing AI to do jobs? You don't even need people to do it. If you care about the people so much, if these governments care, you know what I mean? This is what it is. It's always to catch a buck, man. It's always about the bottom line. That's why I don't want to hear the whole, you go to these jobs and like, oh yeah, we're a family, all that kind of stuff. Get that crap out of here, man. Don't want to hear no slogans. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, we work as one. You know what I mean? Like, we're in it together. Yeah, don't give me, until your bottom line is affected. Yeah, we're a family. Yeah, my family don't put me on PIP. My family don't have me on a probation period. My family don't make me redundant when the bottom line ain't, when the math ain't mathing and the bottom line ain't hitting. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't do that. So please cut out all these slogans. Do that at least. Cut out all these. We know what it's here for. We're here. You're here to get our energy, to take our life, our energy. It feels like, and we're there to get a paycheck. But it's not in line with each other, because you don't do the contracted hours. A lot of people don't do. If you're working white collar jobs, you don't do the contracted hours that they put in a contract. You're doing that plus 20 odd, trying to deliver deliverables, and you have that pressure, thinking you need to do this because you've got blimmin' 100 other people waiting for that position. That manager knows. Listen, if you ain't hitting target, I'll just get someone else in. You need to play ball. We want you in the office on a Saturday or whatever. We want you working on a Saturday. You work on a Saturday. You get your butt in it. Because when it comes to the performance review, we rejig it and make it look like you ain't hitting the figures. So we get you out of it and get the next employer in. Then what you doing when you got kids and family to feed? How many people are moving in back in their families because the jobs aren't even paying the right amounts. I see all these jobs here, and they're like in London. Oh yeah, you need to know UX, you need to know UI. 30K, 30K. Are you high? What's that gonna do? UX and UI. There used to be a job for UX and a job for UI. It used to be separate things. Now they're asking for that together. Plus, you need to know animation. Oh yeah, 30K. In what world? And this stuff is leading. This stuff leads to crime, man. They wonder why crime and poverty are going up. You know. Was it? I can't remember what it was, but it basically increased in it in poverty. I think was it like 8.1? I can't remember the numbers now. I saw it somewhere, but basically poverty's increased. Obviously crime's gone up, and now you're getting things like financial kind of crimes, cyber crime, fraud, all that kind of stuff. People trying to get paid. What's that the song? No vacancy, no vacancy. Dun, dun, dun. I can't get no job. Dun, dun, dun. You must see what me commit robbery. People are literally you got your back to the wall. Like, listen, if you ain't give me the money or I can't get the job, I've got to do something. Do you know what I mean? That's literally the environment we're in right now. So I do hope it will change. I do hope we will. This is like a little dip, like it works in a cycle, maybe. Where it's like, okay, we're in a tough spot, but then we'll come out the other side. But yeah, Zeno, man, people are listen. People are doing that. People are doing that to make ends meet. It's literally Robin Hoods out here. Do you know what I mean? Robin Hoods out here, man, trying to think. Listen, if I'm not getting paid, then I'm gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? And this is not good. This is not a good environment we're in right now. So hopefully things get better. It's crazy right now, but people, this is the end of the stream, man. I think it's been a real informative one, a good one. Remember, we had Doug that came on, and he can help you with CVs and help you tailor your CV to get the right jobs, man. So I put the descriptions to or the links in the description box to his YouTube channel, but also his website where you can get his services and whatnot. And yeah, man, literally, it's you need to do what you can. Tailor that CV, I'd say. I know it's long. Sometimes you apply to these jobs like, oh, I've got something to tailor my CV for this job, but listen, do that. I learned something from him in regards to having my CV on a PDF. Maybe I've been wasting my time doing that. I mean, I've got jobs eventually, but I'll send it out to everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, hopefully you found some enjoyment, some knowledge, some entertainment or wisdom from this stream or whatever. I don't know. Or you're just with like-minded people going for the same thing. Hopefully that was what happened to you. Please give me the HBO special, help a brother out. Comment, like, subscribe on this video. If you missed the stream, you can catch it on the playback. And yeah, man, I won't be doing a live stream this Saturday, but live streams will continue again as planned the following Saturday. Okay, people, but I hope you're good. Hope you've enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you again on the next one. I am gone. Have a blessed day. Have a good week. Take care and look after yourselves, people.